Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Sadia Sattar, and we're going to talk. This is the first space here. I'm so grateful that Command 11 joined us here because it's very important. और उनसे हमने बहुत ही थोड़ा सा टाइम रिक्वेस्ट किया है तो ये जो स्पेस है ये एक शॉर्ट स्पेस होगी जिसमें हम उनसे फैक्ट्स एंड स्टैटिस्टिक्स पे बात करेंगे द वे थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग और the way they're unfolding, who's lying, who's winning, who's spinning, because he's been on it for a long time. I'd request Command 11 if you can please kindly share this space so that the people who are unaware that we're talking about it would know. And if you can please accept the speaker also, ताकि हम आपसे पूछ सकें latest developments क्या हैं, because there are many handles from India in particular, who are constantly saying कि चमन पे पहुंच गए, बलूचिस्तान में पहुंच गए, यहाँ पहुंच गए, tanks आ गए. Command 11, Assalamu alaikum, welcome. Thank you for joining. The space is recorded for the people who join later and they can listen to. Um, have they reached with some tanks and blazing guns in Pakistan?
Nah, no. Everything India is putting out right now is completely false propaganda. It's the exact same thing they did during the May conflict with Pakistan. That their ships apparently sailed up to the port of Lahore and captured Lahore, where we still don't know where the port of Lahore is. So everything that the Indians are saying right now is absolute crap. What I can tell you is that if it's a Russian tank or an American tank that was left in Afghanistan, it no longer exists. Pakistan has wiped out their entire tank battalion. We're a little teed off as to what the Taliban did this morning in Chaman Spin Bolak, where they slit the throats of two of our Frontier Corps soldiers, dragged their bodies naked through the streets. That was beyond what we consider acceptable. And the payback for that is going to be very serious. The Taliban has asked for a 48-hour ceasefire so that they can collect their bodies. Now, remember, this is the Taliban asking for a ceasefire, not Pakistan asking for a ceasefire. They've asked for 48 hours to collect their dead bodies. The amount of damage that we have done to not only the TTP, but to the Taliban infrastructure, we have now opened the gambit on the battle space that we are no longer just after the TTP. Now we are going after the Taliban as well. And reports coming in from the past couple of hours is that we have taken out the head of the general directorate of intelligence of the Taliban. They're holding a meeting at their headquarters. Pakistan hit the headquarters with an airstrike. And we have apparently taken out Abdul Haq Wasik, which is the head of the GDI. That's a huge scalp for Pakistan. So we're waiting for confirmation of that to come across, that we have actually taken them out, but we may have taken out a lot more of their senior leadership that was in that meeting as well.
Right. What happened to Nurwali Masood? Because when this started initially, there were people who were talking, and yet we haven't got any confirmation. And then there were like so many audios floating. Any comment on that?
Well, Sadia, the thing is, Nurwali Masood was hit in the strike. We know that he was hit in the strike. We know he was taken to a hospital. We don't know if he's alive or dead because the Taliban is refusing to confirm whether he's alive or dead. The recordings that came out that night were all AI generated. They were picked up from old recordings and joined together to make it sound like he was still alive. And he was supposedly, quote unquote, in the tribal region in Pakistan, which is categorically false. Our ground intelligence, again, Command 11 is an intelligence agency, so we have human assets inside of Afghanistan. They clearly told us if he's not in Kabul, he's in Khost, but he's in Afghanistan. He is not outside of Afghanistan. And if you remember the first night when we launched strikes, we hit Khost, we hit Paktika, we hit Jalalabad, and we hit Kabul. Those were all four major centers of the TTP. So if Nurwali is still alive, why has the Taliban not produced him and put him on video someplace where people can see that he's still alive? And our belief is that we have taken him, that scalp has been taken, but the Taliban is scared to confirm it because if they confirm, we were able to take out Nurwali Masood in Kabul in a guest house that was controlled completely by the Taliban. That will create problems with Al Qaeda and with other terror groups that are operating on Afghani soil because they trust the Taliban to provide security for them. And if Pakistan can take out the leader of the TTP in Kabul, that raises a lot of questions as to whether the Taliban can provide security or not.
Right. So there's a deliberate silence, and I understand that if you're sharing an audio which is AI generated, then obviously you have valid reasons. Either he's taken a hit or he's just no more. So anyhow, that's all to the speculation until it's confirmed. Now, coming back to a couple of things that I've seen on your timeline, where you're saying that that the about the terrorists, that they're going to they cannot act like soldiers. That's what Sarah Adams asked you. Why are we
Yeah, yeah.
still funding them is the question, and I think she's apt here. Why are they being funded despite knowing how dangerous they are? Also, I'd like you to have a brief give us a brief comment about how Raw started making a nexus. I know you know a lot of details, but something brief for the consumption of our audience here.
Okay, let's pick up from the U.S. Since September of 2021, September 2021, the U.S. government has been providing the Taliban with $40 million every week. $40 million every week that is airdropped. A plane flies into Afghanistan and delivers $40 billion. That is a known fact. There are two additional buckets of payments. There is $5 million paid to Sirajuddin Haqqani, Habitullah Akhundzada, Mullah Brother, Mullah Umar's son, Mullah Yaqub, and the Prime Minister of Afghanistan right now. The name skips my mind right now. Each one is paid $5 million every week so they don't fight against it, so they don't fight each other. That's another bucket. The third bucket payment is a $10 million payment weekly to run the command and control center in Doha, Qatar, the Taliban's office in Qatar. That is paid to offset expenses of running that office. About when Donald Trump came into office, there was a bill put forward in the U.S. House of Representatives that was passed through the House of Representatives to cut off funding. It's literally called "Stop Funding the Taliban." That is the name of the bill. That bill was put forward in the U.S. House of Representatives by a representative by the name of Tim Burchett. That was passed through the House of Representatives. It's now been pending for over 6 months in the United States Senate. They will not even table it for a vote. And no matter how many people are screaming about that funding being cut off, it's still not being tabled for a vote. Donald Trump signed an executive order within 4 days of coming into office saying stop the funding to the Taliban, but he was told that you cannot stop it that way. It must be passed through the houses of Congress. Now it's stuck in the Senate, and that money is still being paid to the Taliban. Now, for your listeners, I want to make something very clear. The 9/11 attack that was carried out by Al Qaeda cost a total of $500,000, $500,000. They are getting $40 million a week. Just think about the level of terrorist activities they can carry out. And that's taking out the $7 billion in weapons that were left behind when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. So there's a lot there that needs to be unwrapped that we can maybe do in another space. The link between the Taliban and RAW was actually created during the time when the Ghani government and the Karzai government was still in Afghanistan. This is documented in two books, spy stories by Adrian Levy, and there's an Indian author, Avinash Balwash, I think is his name, My Enemy's Enemy. And both of them have documented how the relationship between RAW and the TTP started. The intent of RAW employing the TTP was using them as a force against Pakistan. Basically, the strategic depth concept that Pakistan had been talking about with the Taliban. RAW implemented that, and we have video of Ajit Doval saying it, that we will use the Deobandis. If Pakistan's giving them $1 million, we'll give them $2 million. If Pakistan's giving them $2 million, we'll give them $4 million. It's all a matter of money. But we will get the Taliban to work with us, and the Taliban will help us link up with TTP, and we'll use TTP against Pakistan. It is, if you remember, the old defense minister of India, Moman Parikar. Parikar said that we will fight with a 1,000-cut strategy. That is what we're seeing with India right now. Whether it be the BLA, which is directly connected to RAW, whether it be the TTP, which is directly connected to RAW. And they showed their colors after the May skirmish that we had with India. When Allah Nazar recorded a video saying that Modi ji, if you want us to fight for you against the state of Pakistan, just give us weapons and bullets. We will fight the state of Pakistan with you. And Nur Wali Masood from the TTP literally went on video and justified taking money from idol worshippers, not infidels, not kafirs, idol worshippers, the lowest rung of what Islam believes could even come close to believing in God. He sat there on TV, in a video, and justified taking money from India to fight the jihad against Pakistan. That was both of those organizations showing their colors that, yes, we are agents of the Indian state.
Right. Thank you so much. Command 11, of course, there's a lot, and so many people must be having a lot of questions. So if you do, you can leave your questions in the comments, or you can take the speaker. But I'd request you to be extremely brief because we've taken only 30 minutes from Command 11 to speak about it. It's going to have a follow up in our Zoom session where you can see the video where I'm planning to have a couple of people from Afghanistan as well to give their side of the story, but we'll be having Command 11. So now, getting back to this complete thing, you've spoken about funding, you've spoken about RAW and TTP Nexus, and you've told at length about how things have started. Right now, if we're talking about what exactly is the situation, because we see there's a lot of propaganda going on, we see a lot of videos coming, and we see there what is this about ceasefire, because every single time we have seen Zabihullah's tweet as well, where he says, Pakistan asked for ceasefire, that's why it started. So how true is it, and
No,
what
it's not.
proofs can we have, or what do you have to say about that, please?
Well, let's do this. Let's do this ceasefire first. If you go to Ahmed Sharifzada's account, he has posted a screenshot of the email that was sent to the Foreign Office asking for a 48-hour ceasefire from Afghanistan, asking for a 48-hour ceasefire. During the first 2 days of the conflict with Afghanistan, and conflict is being very polite because it was a slaughter from our side. We had Qatar 6 times asked for a ceasefire from the Taliban's platform, saying, please stop the escalation. Saudi Arabia asked 6 times for a ceasefire. We finally agreed to a ceasefire on the evening of the 2nd day. And we said we will only cease fire so they can collect their bodies. We are not stopping fire, period. This is not a conditional ceasefire that we will no longer fight. This was a position very clear where we said, okay, we will stop firing just so you can collect your bodies, because we had laid waste to the Taliban. If you look at some of the videos that ISPR has put out, there is not a single TTP camp along the Pakistan border that is still in existence. There is not a single BLA camp that is along the Pakistan border that is still in existence. We have wiped out their entire infrastructure. Now, one more thing I should drop in here. The night that we started attacking Afghanistan, the night we went after Nur Wali Masood, the TTP suicide bomber trainer, a person by the name of Mohammed, sent 100 suicide bombers into Pakistan. Peshawar, Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi. That's where they were sent. They are inside the country right now. We are tracing them. We have Mohammed's number. We have his phone number. So we are tracking his number as well to find out how he's communicating. And we are going to find these suicide bombers before they can detonate. But if you understand, the Taliban is not really an army. They're not really a military force. They are a bunch of terrorists. So they are going to fall back to what they believe, what their terrorist leanings are. So what we're going to see is armed assaults. We are going to see suicide bombers. That is the only thing they know how to do, because militarily they cannot fight a conventional war against Pakistan. Now, if you remember on the first night, there was a story that India broke, that somehow the Taliban was able to put a plane in the air, fly all the way across Pakistan, and bomb Lahore. That was categorically false. That they not only are not able to fly planes, but to fly 800 kilometers across Pakistan in closed airspace, which they would have gotten shot down if they had crossed into Pakistan, and bomb Lahore. That was the most amazing piece of fabricated propaganda that we have ever seen.
Right. So this propaganda we've seen before, we are seeing it now. If we talk about the ground situation, you've told us at length and in detail. How far do you think it's going to go and escalate? Also, I would want to know, since Raw is having its hidden hands everywhere, from Canada to Qatar and then from Pakistan to Bangladesh, destabilizing the whole world primarily. So, how do you see? Can we expect, because they keep on blithering about AJK and Baluchistan? Do you see there is a possibility of a two-front attack where they're going to go and backstab Pakistan as they've done in the past and taking the advantage of the situation because we're busy here?
I think it would be absolute foolishness for India to try and take advantage of the situation. Reason being that the entire fight we have with Afghanistan is being done with drones. Our aircraft are not in the air. So if India were to get stupid and decide they're going to open up a two-front war with us, they would get a significantly worse lesson than they got in May. And if you remember, Sadia, we've had this conversation privately a couple of times, that Pakistan showed extreme restraint during the May conflict. That May conflict, Pakistan did not use the missiles that we could have used. We did not let loose the air power we could have let loose. We basically let India, like a punch drunk fighter, punch themselves out. And then when they said, okay, we think we've done the damage to Pakistan, Pakistan retaliated. And we opened up an air corridor directly to New Delhi. We took out the S-400s. We took out the missile systems. We had an open air corridor directly to New Delhi. So if we wanted to bomb the capital of India, we could have bombed the capital of India. India does not realize that, that they were in such a weak position at that time. Their media was singing the praises of their military, saying, we won the war, we've beaten Pakistan, we've hit all of our strategic targets. You hit 3 mosques in the middle of the night, and all 3 mosques were supposedly terror targets, but you can't prove they were terror targets, because you cannot, thus far, in front of the international media, in all of your diplomatic efforts, you have not been able to prove that the targets you hit were terror targets. You've said they were, but you haven't been able to prove it. Now, if India wants to try and take advantage of the situation that we currently have with Afghanistan, they need to keep in mind that Pakistan's military is using guns, howitzers, long-range heavy weaponry, and drones against Afghanistan. We are not using our aircraft. Our warplanes are not in the air. If India were to dare to make this mistake, the response from Pakistan would be significantly harsher than what happened in May. We have had enough with both of these countries. Pakistan has openly said that we will go after financiers and collaborators of the terror regime in Afghanistan. That is directly pointing the finger at India, because we know India is funding them. And now that the foreign minister is stuck in India, he's trying to make all kinds of comments about how there's no terrorists in Afghanistan and there's nothing going on in Afghanistan. There's not a bigger crock of crap that you could put out on the table than that. We know Al Qaeda is in Afghanistan. We know that ETIM is in Afghanistan. We know HTS is in Afghanistan. We know Hezbollah is in Afghanistan. We know IRGC is in Afghanistan. We know Hezbollah is in Afghanistan. We know ISIS is in Afghanistan. For God's sake, the leader of ISKP is a Haqqani network lieutenant. How are you telling us you don't have terror camps there? You're trying to do deflection and saying, oh, ISKP has a camp in Balochistan. Well, that camp was set up by RAW. It was not set up by Pakistan. And you're trying to pass it back on us, saying that Pakistan is using ISKP. We're going to use them for terror attacks. Pakistan has never used a terror group to attack Afghanistan. We have always used our own military. Every strike we have done in Afghanistan in the past on terror camps has been the Pakistan Air Force. We have never sent a terror group in. That is India's modus operandi. That is not Pakistan's.
Yeah, but that's one question probably that we keep on debating spaces and private conversations, and that's not probably relevant to your work or the thing that you're an expert of, that is geostrategic analysis. I'm talking about this media warfare going on that we spoke about a bit, like in the beginning. How do you see they're twisting? Like you've just said that it is India's way to create chaos and instability, and that's how they use. But then they are trying to make a narrative totally opposite. And if we see from the Afghan
Well,
handles,
that's
yeah, yeah, please.
Sadia, that's what India did during the May conflict as well. They made up stories. If you look at what India's been pushing over the past 3 days, and it's India pushing it, this is not Afghanistan pushing it. This is India crafting the narrative, pushing it across from Afghani handles that are run from India. India has sold the Tejas aircraft to Afghanistan, a plane that the Indians don't even fly themselves, they've sold to Afghanistan. They have shot down a JF 17. I don't know how, since we have not put any planes in the air. I don't know how you shot down a plane. You have conquered Islamabad, you have bombed Lahore. Again, we have to go back to what India is best at. India is the number one disinformation, fake news country in the entire world. This is on Statista's website that when you look up fake news, disinformation, India is number one. Nobody trusts their media. Nobody. They're doing the same thing right now for Afghanistan, trying to paint a picture. Oh, Pakistan is the aggressor. Pakistan did this. Pakistan did this. Pakistan has tolerated over 400 terror attacks on our soil since 2021. We have not raised a hand to you yet. We have not fought with you yet. We have lost over 500 soldiers, over 25 officers to terror attacks that are sponsored by the Taliban through the TTP inside of our tribal regions. We did not do anything to you. We've hit a couple of your camps, and that's it. We have not waged a war against you. You seem to believe that you can sit in Delhi and pump out whatever kind of crap you want, like you did during the May War, where you were saying, "Oh, we have bombed Lahore, we have bombed Karachi, we have bombed Lahore, we have taken all the way to Lahore." None of that was true. And we saw the Indian media after the war was wound down. The Indian media, we saw 3 anchors come on national television in India and apologize to the Indian people for the amount of falsehoods they had put out. That they were getting all their information from Indian social media handles and reporting that without any vetting. Now, if you're a news organization, Sadia, you've worked in the news. We have interviewed with the news. We don't put out information that is not credible and confirmable. India does not have that basis. They will put anything out as long as it makes India look good. Right now, their objective is to make Afghanistan look like the victim, no matter what they have done, no matter how many of our Pakistani lives they have taken. India is pushing and trying to make Afghanistan look like the victim because Pakistan carried out unprovoked strikes inside of Afghanistan. They are not unprovoked. We waited, we talked, we waited, we talked. We brought in regional partners to talk to the Taliban and say, stop it. That's enough of this. No more of these terror attacks on Pakistan. But India was pumping so much money into Afghanistan, saying, hit Pakistan again, hit Pakistan again, hit Pakistan again. If you just look at Jaffa Express, while the Jaffa Express siege was going on, while they had the train hostage, Bod Baloch was on Indian television talking about the tactics the BLA had used to carry out this attack. Now, I don't understand any country in the world that would bring a terrorist on TV while an attack is going on and ask him what tactics they were using, unless they are fully supported.
No, that's perfect. And as far as Islamabad is concerned, so right now there is this Afghan, so Talib sitting on my head with a gun. That's why I'm doing a space and I'm not talking much because I don't know when Indians are gonna come and take over. But that's the kind of level of lies that they're talking and making people believe
Of
because
course.
probably 1.5 billion want to believe. Now, getting back to something really sentimental and emotional, because despite that we're talking about geopolitics, we are from a land where people are into a lot of emotion, and emotions usually come first, which is an idiocy at times. But still, I'm going to ask you, you come from the very same region. They talk
Yeah.
about Durand line, and we've just recently seen there is this surge in X handles talking about that, saying that Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is not a part of Pakistan, and everybody here belongs to Afghanistan, and the land also belongs to Afghanistan. You being a Pashtun, you coming from the land, you are the one
Mm-hmm.
we can proudly say is a proud Pashtun from Pakistan. What's your comment on that?
Right.
What's the actual sentiment and how they're trying to portray it out of proportion?
Okay, now Sadia, I'm gonna approach this a different way. Let's say that my grandparents moved to Europe in the 1940s, and they settled in Europe, and we every generation after my grandparents was born in Europe. That doesn't mean that I can claim Europe as my own, because just because my grandparents came and they lived there doesn't mean that that belongs to the Pashtuns. What Afghanistan is trying to do, and this is what they did in 1947 as well, when they said that no, we will not accept Pakistan as a state because they didn't want to give up Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Afghanistan in the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1960s has sent militia and army into KP, into Bajwar, had a beating like you would not believe handed to them, and sent back. They have not been able to conquer the Pashtuns of Pakistan. While you may think you are an amazing fighting force and you Pashtuns in Afghanistan are so much stronger than the Pashtuns here in Pakistan, you've never been able to conquer us. You've never been able to take us. The only way you've been able to do that was by sending the TTP with weapons and force and suicide bombers and scaring us into not fighting back. But when we decided to fight back, and Sadia, you know my history. Back in 2007, I moved to Swat from Karachi. I took up arms, I formed a militia, and I fought the TTP on the ground and pushed them out of Swat. So when we fight back, we know how to push you out. But the Taliban and the TTP and these Afghanis quoting the Duran line doesn't exist anymore. That is the international border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The only people arguing this are those people who still believe in Muhammad Dawood's position that there is a greater Pashtunistan that needs to be created. This is the same argument that what's his name? The guy that runs PTM. God, he's been out of the news. Manzoor Pashtun. Yeah. Manzoor Pashtun has also tried to use the same argument that all the Pashtuns should unite with Afghanistan because we'll have safety when we're all together. How can you prove that to me? Look at the state of Afghanistan. What powers do the Pashtuns have in Afghanistan that we don't have in Pakistan? Why are you crossing the border and coming living in Pakistan, living here, getting your medical care here, giving your children education here, when Afghanistan is so much better than we are? That's the argument that they cannot counter. Why are there still 3 million Afghani Pashtuns living in Pakistan when Afghanistan's Pashtuns are so much better than we are? Why are you in our cities? Why are you doing business in our country? Why are you educating your children in our country? Why are you buying property in our country if you think that we aren't part of your part of Pakistan? You are buying our passports, you are buying our national identity cards just so you can be Pakistani. Now, if your argument is correct that that Duran line is unacceptable and KP is part of Afghanistan, then why are you trying to be a Pakistani?
Right, and there's this point, I think, Rouhani, it would have been better if you chose to come and speak here rather than sending leaving these posts in the nest where nobody's understanding the language primarily, and frankly speaking, going with a complete, translation, but still I did this hard work. So, Command 11, I'm going to ask you this thing. This guy, I assume, is from Afghanistan, saying the responsibility lies with the hosts of terrorists, not with Pakistan or the people of Afghanistan. Okay. The target was a foreign terrorist in Kabul. This event once again proved that providing refuge to terrorist groups does not guarantee the security of any country, and the people of Afghanistan are themselves victims of terrorism, not the country attacking Kabul. So there's this detailed post here, and
Well,
at
he's
the end
right.
he says,
He's
yeah,
right,
at the end, but
Sadia.
there's this one point at the end that he says, Pakistan's attack on Kabul was not aimed at the people but targeted at terrorists. If you truly love your homeland, do not turn it into a guest house for the world. How would you comment? There is this faction of Afghan people who realize that harboring terrorists is not good. So, what percentage this group of people has in Afghanistan, as per your
It's not a
analysis?
faction. Let's be clear about this. Let's be clear about this. It's not a faction of the Afghani people. The Afghani people as a whole, if you are not a Taliban supporter, you hold the position that we are being held hostage by the Taliban. The reason these terrorists are allowed to operate inside of Afghanistan is because of the Taliban regime. If, and we have said this to different members of the resistance in Afghanistan, that if you want to free your country, Pakistan stands wholeheartedly with you. We will provide you with whatever we can to help you defeat the Taliban if you want to stand up and fight them. If you don't and you want us to do it, then you have to accept what we do afterwards, because then we will not tolerate the people that were sitting on the sidelines and saying, well, you know, we should do something about these Taliban, but I don't want to pick up a weapon. I'll even give you example. Yesterday, we put a post up on the Command 11 X handle where I literally called out every single former general of the Afghan National Army saying, why are you sitting on your butts and not fighting for your country? They're all sitting in the US and in Europe enjoying happy, comfortable lives and telling their Afghani brothers back in Afghanistan, go and fight the Taliban. Why don't you come back and lead them? Why, as a former general of the Afghan army, why are you enjoying a comfortable life in Afghanistan while you're in America, while your country is being laid siege to by terrorists? Tweets don't work. You cannot sit in America and Europe and tweet in favor of Afghanistan and think you're going to defeat the Taliban with tweets. That's not going to happen. You need to come back, take up weapons, and fight the Taliban the way we've been fighting for the past 3 days. We will no longer tolerate the Taliban government and the Taliban regime in Afghanistan for two reasons. Number one, you have made a mockery of human rights. The idea of human rights in Afghanistan is non-existent. Number two, the mockery you have made of women's rights in Afghanistan is absolutely abhorrent. If you are serious about fixing your country, you need to get on a plane, fly back to your country, and stand with your brothers and fight for Afghanistan. Because you don't have a seat at the table if Pakistan frees Afghanistan. Then we will decide who will be the leadership, and Pakistan is heavily putting their support behind Ahmed Massoud. Because Ahmed is a very educated, intellectual, strong, charismatic leader that if we can get him to become the leader of Afghanistan, Afghanistan will see the prosperity it deserves. But we will not tolerate the likes of General Atanur, the likes of General Dostum to come back and think we'll be part of government again. You're sitting on the sidelines, counting your money, enjoying your lives, and going, let someone else come and fight them. We don't want to fight because it'll affect our business, it'll affect our money, it'll affect our lives. You cannot expect someone else to come and give you freedom. That will not happen. And that freedom will not last. The problem with Afghanistan right now is too many people who they consider leaders are sitting on the sidelines and saying, well, we can't do anything because, you know, it's the Taliban. They're very forceful and they're very barbaric and we can't fight them. As long as you hold that position, Afghanistan will never be free and the people will be subjugated. They will be made slaves of. They will have more and more nasty things done to them because the Taliban will realize that the people will not stand up against us. And when you understand that, then it's very easy to subjugate a population.
Right, and I think it's high time that people start realizing. Moreover, I'd request most of the people sitting here that most of the information is not information in these times. You get to see multiple video footages, you get to see a lot of pictures and things that can probably sensationalize all the audience across the globe. But the truth is really hard to find. It's very important as a person, as a human, to try and verify before amplifying it, because like we've spoken about it, had it been the case all the words, all the tweets, all the posts were true from Taliban's, I think I wouldn't have been doing this X space as of now. Probably my internet would have been shut down, or probably I would have been in a very bad situation. The unfortunate part is that people just believe whatever they see, and then the unfortunate part starts because we're about to slit throats of each other. One more thing, there are very many interesting takes. So there's this guy who I assume is from Afghanistan, and again, a very interesting where he says politicians of Pakistan should not be deceived by anybody, and Taliban must be tamed. He says tamed through force and guns. Dialogue with the Taliban is ultimately a conspiracy. That's Mehfuz Khadim. So, what's your comment on that? As we spoke, there's this faction, and you rightly said it's not a faction, it's quite a group of people in Afghanistan. What do you say about that?
Yeah.
Command level.
Well, here's the problem. If you go back to 2001, when the war on terror started, Pakistan has done somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 peace agreements with different militant groups, factions of that were supporting the Taliban. As soon as the ink was dry on the paper, the faction or the militant group would break the ceasefire. They would break the agreement they had. I'll even go to the very simple, the most recent. Excuse me. In 2022, we sat down on the insistence of Sirajuddin Haqqani and Barrister Safe here in Pakistan to sit down with the TTP and negotiate some kind of a peace agreement between us and the TTP. When the TTP sat down, they put their demands down. They said, well, look, we want control of the entire Malakan division. That means Swat, Dir, Bunir, Malakand, Shangla, meaning all of your tourist areas in the northern areas of Pakistan would be handed over to the Taliban. They wanted complete control of that. They wanted the army pulled out of those areas. They wanted the police pulled out of those areas. They would be the police, they would be the armed forces. They would be allowed to impose whatever tax they choose to impose on the people. They also put forward a condition saying that whatever article of the Constitution of Pakistan they disagree with will not be enforced in the areas they have control of. They also said that we will be allowed to carry weapons, but civilians will not be allowed to carry weapons. So basically, you were creating a fascist state. That is not Islam. Islam, if we go back to the core of what the Quran taught, Khalifas were selected based on the fact that there was not a single negative thing that could be said about someone. So when Hazrat Umar stood up, people were asked, do you have anything negative to say about him? When they said, no, we don't have anything negative to say about him, then and only then was he made the Khalifa. What the Taliban was trying to enforce upon Pakistan was that you will do what we say, how we say it, when we say it, the way we say it, because that's what we say. That's not Islam, number one. Number two, the Taliban being a terror group, the TTP being a terror group, they only understand force. You cannot sit down at a table and negotiate with them. I still don't understand what Imran Khan's problem is to continuously say to sit down and talk to them and talk to them and talk to them because they are disgruntled brothers. They are not disgruntled brothers. They are killers. They have been killing our people. And it's very interesting that Gibran Nasser put out a infographic today, and it shatters Imran's entire argument. From 2014 to 2016, Operation Zarb-e-Azab happened in Pakistan. We pushed the TTP out of Pakistan. And if you look at the massive decline in terror attacks in Pakistan, it's proof that kinetic operations work. When you take on a kinetic operation and you break the back of these terrorists, they are not able to attack you any longer. Now, we said it during the Imran government as well, that first you need to break their backs, then you sit down and you talk to them, because you can only negotiate from a position of power. You cannot negotiate from a position where you are embattled in a war. At the time when Imran wanted to negotiate with the TTP, they were more powerful than we were. Now, you cannot negotiate from a position of weakness. Break their backs, let the military take out as many targets as they possibly can, then we'll sit down in negotiations, because then we are on stronger footing. We would like for the PTI supporters to please understand, you cannot negotiate with people who believe that slitting your throat, dragging you naked through the streets is something that is justified either in Islam or in warfare. These are not people you can talk to. You need to deal with them with force, whether you like it or not. You need to deal with them with force, break their backs. Once their backs are broken, then we are happy to sit down and talk, but not when they are trying to kill our own people.
Right, genuinely, as anybody would have said, thank you so much, and thank you for all the elaboration. And thank you, Mehfooz Saab. You've had a great post, and I'd appreciate a few more Afghans who've joined here. And frankly, you've changed my perception completely, because there's so many people who do not want this, what is happening, and they understand the repercussions. Deborah, thanks for joining. You've risen your hand. Do you have a question or a comment? Please be quick. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing me up. Khalid, I am so thankful to hear your voice and know you are okay. I have been really worried and concerned about you, and I appreciate everything you and Sarah have done. I want you to know that what you're doing is not in vain. We really appreciate it. And for everybody living through this, my heart goes out to you. I I pray we all have peace and can just love each other and be here, but some people in the world are more about power and control and don't want to just give everybody freedom and love. But my question was for Khalid. Khalid, does this put a loophole in the attacks that you and Sarah have talked about for the United States? Will this push that back any, or do you see that moving forward? And if you could kind of go into detail about that a little bit, exactly what you're expecting. And again, Khalid, I'm so thankful you're okay. I've been worried about you. I usually watch y'all when you do your space, but thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, Deborah.
Well,
Command
thank you,
11, do you want
Deborah.
to comment on it? It was a compliment for you and
Yeah,
Sarah. Yeah.
Deborah's, I think, one of our viewers on the Survival Dispatch podcast that we do every night, U.S. time, 7 p.m. We've been talking about the 9/11 2.0 attacks that are about to be carried out in the U.S. They were scheduled to happen end of November to the end of February of 2026. Now, what's going on right now in Afghanistan has completely shaken what they could potentially do, because when you're a rat scurrying for a hole in a place to hide, you can't really plan a terror attack. The only way they can stay on timeline is if the IRGC takes over leadership from the Taliban. And we know the IRGC and the Taliban are very closely linked together because the Taliban is paying them millions of dollars every month. And if you remember, you might remember the tweet we put out that the day we started bombing Afghanistan, the IRGC immediately got the leader of the Taliban, Habibullah Akhundzada, out of Kandahar and got him into Tehran. So we know that's a hiding place for Taliban leadership and Al-Qaeda leadership. It is possible that they try and keep their timeline, but if you watched the show last night that we did, we kind of talked about this in detail, where this will now switch from the high intensity attack that they were planning to a very low intensity attack, because they'll have to use the cartels, they will have to use the radical left movements like Antifa to carry out attacks inside the United States or inside of Europe, where they were initially planning for ISIS to carry out a ground assault on 10 to 15 tier 2 cities, centering on taking hospitals as siege locations. And then at the same time, Al Qaeda was going to hijack airplanes and blow them up in the air. So the US was looking at something in the neighborhood of 100,000 deaths from 9/11 2.0. Right now, Sarah and I are both in the same position. As long as the bombing goes on in Afghanistan, the chances of 9/11 2.0 happening at the time frame they have been talking about is not possible. It will be pushed. If not canceled, it will be pushed to maybe April, May of next year, because they first have to find safe footing in a safe haven of their own before they can plan out an attack like this. But thank you so much, Deborah, for all the comments. I hope you still watch our Survival Dispatch programs. We do a lot of intelligence sharing there. We do a lot of conversations there. So if you keep tuning in, I'm sure we'll keep giving you a lot more intelligence there.
Right, lovely. Thanks, Deborah. Thanks for your question, comment, and thanks, Command 11, for yeah. You want to say something? Please be crisp, because we have a lot of hands risen already. Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for holding the space. And Khalid, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I missed last night, but I will go back and watch it. Thank you all so much. And I pray for you all that you're safe and your families are safe.
Thanks, Deborah. Lots of love to you as well. I wish peace across the globe, but apparently it's really tough to achieve. We'll take Command 11 comment on that, but before that, I'm going to move quickly to Mehfooz. And also, I'd like to share this thing that I have placed in the nest of this space. There's this Tajik brother who's saying, we Tajiks have the capability to strengthen and support Pakistan in the fight against Taliban terrorism and to counter Pashtun extremism in Afghanistan, which is in the interest of both the countries. Thank you. I'd quickly go to Mahfouz, and then I'm going to move to Rouhani. And Command 11, brother, can you please just take note of their questions? Please be very brief and crisp. Thank you. Yeah, Mahfouz, please. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for accepting me as a speaker. I apologize, first of all, that maybe my English is no good at the moment that I am studying other language. So I'm gonna mix my English with German, Italian, in other languages that I'm
Mahfouz
learning
brother,
right now.
don't
So,
worry. It's not about the language, it's about the
oh,
sentiment and the comment. But nobody
yeah,
understands German and Italian, so you may move in Pashto and the Shina, maybe
uh,
Dardi. Yeah, go
for
ahead.
Persish. My language is Persish. So, I would like to say a couple of things that we are Persian people, Tajik cult in Afghanistan, that we have no problems with Pakistan. We are friends, we are brother. We have border, official and international border that's called language accepted. So we have no problems with our brother in Pakistan. We want to fight back against the Taliban in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, TTP. So Taliban in Afghanistan and TTP, they would like to disintegrate the Pakistan and break down the Pakistan, so that the major objective of the Taliban's. But now I would like to propose the Pakistan government to support the people that they want to fight Taliban in Afghanistan. So we have a lot of resistance front and other political and military party in Afghanistan. So we have Ahmadi Masood, we have that I have already heard here, Ahmadi Masood and General Dostum, Atta Muhammadi Noor, and other jihadi leader in Afghanistan, that they can fight back. So first of all, we need territory. Unfortunately, in Afghanistan, we have no territory in Afghanistan under control. So we need territory in some part of the world to recruit the soldier, to recruit the personnel, and we need supplement. So we can collect the personnel that they want to fight back Pakistan. So our major needs is territory, where we can recruit the personnel and then supply them. Thank you.
Mahfouz brother, assalamu alaikum. First off, I need to kind of catch you up on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In March, the Pakistani government met with Ahmed Massoud and offered him full support, from drones to weapons to full supply. Ahmed went back and he thought about it, and he came back and said, well, we need to think about it more. Um, Again, in June, there was a conference. I'm sorry, not June. It's about 3 weeks ago, there was a conference in Islamabad where we brought all the Afghani leadership together that is not Taliban. And we put the same offer forward again. We said, listen, if you want our support, we're more than willing to support you. Just like we supported the Mujahideen against the Soviets, we will support the Tajiks and the resistance movement against the Taliban. We are still waiting for an answer from the resistance movement as to whether you want our support or not. Because we put it on the table twice now, and we're still waiting for you to come back to us with an answer.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for having me here. I have been following Command for quite some time. I think it was back in 2017 that I started following him. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Hello, welcome back. I think there was some glitch and we've lost it, and I'm afraid, Dr. Ahmed, I couldn't give you the speaker earlier, but I hope that we can speak now. So we'd be waiting for a few people to join back in as soon as they understand that if we've restarted the space, and I guess then we can take you from here on. I believe that you have some different argument here because I could see your timeline too. So we'll just wait for them to join back in if you don't mind, and then we can start over. In the meantime, if you would like, please introduce yourself. Thank you. And Command 11 is here already. Thank you so much, brother. It's really very kind of you. And I'm sorry to the guy who was asking you a question because he was too excited and somehow the space crashed. Dr. Ahmed, would you want to say something? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Miss. Hello, everyone. I hope doing all of you well. I just have a lot of question about your narrative right now, talking about the fight between Pakistan and the Taliban in Afghanistan. Actually, I am from Afghanistan. I want to know about the alternative and narrative you're about the Afghanistan. I have some of question about. I don't know. Do you have some guys or no or not yet? Or Republic?
We can wait, Dr. Ramit, and to be honest, it's more about having people on board who are covering this thing for a very long time. The relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan and how things have happened. I'm sure you have your perception and perspective, so we'll definitely take your question. I'd request you to be brief, but before that, Command 11, I'm so sorry. The space got lost somehow. I'd request you guys if you can please share this space so that the people get to know that we have restarted now for about 10 minutes. I hope we can continue with 10 minutes. So, G Command 11, would you want to say something? Dr. Rahmat apparently has a different opinion. Dr. Ahmed, would you mind asking the question, whatever you want to ask, or the comment you wanted to make, please?
False flags are great because
okay, I have a question about the guys right now about the Afghanistan. If you wanna research about the history of fight before between Pakistan and Taliban and other government like Republic of Afghanistan before the period in Afghanistan. But during the 20 years, during the Republic of Afghanistan, all the time the Pakistan government support the Taliban, all the time fighting between Republican Islamic country in my country before in Afghanistan, fighting and supporting Taliban. I have one question right now. Why right now Pakistan wanna fight with Taliban? The narrative government of Pakistan fighting between Afghanistan people or Taliban people because Afghanistan right now 70% of people right now against of Taliban right now because all of people Afghanistan wanted the savior of Taliban right now. I don't know about your governmental alternative right now. I want to know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Reem, a couple of things I need to correct in your statement there. We never fought the Republic of Afghanistan. We always had Pakistan's support for the Taliban started after our support from the Mujahideen when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan in 1979. That veered off into supporting the Taliban when the civil war started in Afghanistan. We have never had a problem with the people of Afghanistan. Not the government of Pakistan, not the people of Pakistan have ever had a problem with the people of Afghanistan. Our problem has always been with the governments that have either been installed in Afghanistan by foreign powers or by the Taliban itself, because the Taliban, as you said, for 20 years, Pakistan supported the Taliban. You're absolutely correct in that statement. But our problem with the Taliban is that you, and when I say you, I'm talking about the Taliban. The Taliban took issue with Pakistan when we supported America in the war on terror. And that's when the problem between Pakistan and the Taliban began. We had a lot of issues between both parties. We kept saying to the Taliban before the war on terror started, this was made as a direct request to Mullah Umar to hand over Osama bin Laden so we could give him to the U.S. and have him prosecuted in the U.S. for the 9/11 attacks. Mullah Umar said, no, give us the charges and we will prosecute him in Afghanistan. Now, at that time, it was the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. It was not the Republic of Afghanistan. When you talk about the Republic of Afghanistan, you are talking about Dr. Najib. You are talking about King Zahid Shah. We had no problem with either one. I think you'd be very hard pressed finding a problem that we had with either one. But if you look at Afghanistan's history before the Soviet invasion, Afghanistan was very closely tied with India and the Soviet Union. The Sour Revolution happened because they were fed up with King Zahir Shah. So they decided we're going to install President Mohammed Dawood Khan. And President Dawood came with the vision of a greater Pashtunistan. That was where Pakistan started having a lot more problems with Afghanistan.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. There was some glitch. Anyhow, signals over noise, please.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you
excitement
again.
brought the glitch to the space signals. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, what just happened? Anyway, big fan, Command. I've been following you from like I think back in 2017 or 2018. Yeah, big fan of yours and your work. I have two questions. First one is these kinetic operations that the Pakistani military is doing. Um, how sustainable do you think? How like far along do you think, in your opinion, is this going to continue? Is this going to be an ongoing thing? Because obviously, we don't have like a huge amount of stockpiles of like these precision guided bombs that we can just like keep dropping one every day. The second question is, I am very curious about this podcast, brother. Like, I want to hop on this. So if you can please tell me about that. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, first question. How long can we sustain this? If you remember early on in the conversation, I said that Pakistan has yet to put any warplanes in the air. So we're not using any of our missile stockpiles yet. We are only using drones. And drones are very easy to restock and put back up in the air again because they are very lightweight. They're low level munitions that we can restock very quickly, number one. Number two, in terms of sustainability, Pakistan has taken a position that anytime there is a terror attack inside of Pakistan, the answer will be delivered in Kabul. We will no longer tolerate terror attacks without pushing repercussions on the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. So in terms of sustainability right now, we are working from the position that we want to break the back of the TTP so they can no longer attack inside of Pakistan. The second objective we have is to take out core leadership of the Taliban in Afghanistan that is supporting the TTP. If you've followed us for as long as you have, you know that we have on regular intervals pointed out that there is a division of the General Directorate of Intelligence of Afghanistan that fully supports with finances, weapons, training, and intelligence the TTP. That is their sole responsibility. So the hit that we put in Kabul today, where we hit the GDI headquarters, was a decapitation strike on the GDI, so they could no longer do that anymore. In terms of sustainability, we only want to get to the point where we break the back so that they can no longer attack inside of Pakistan. The second thing is the cells that are already inside of Pakistan, we are already moving against them. So in Bajawar, in Waziristan, in Kunar, in Tira Valley, those are already being moved against. And if we need to put warplanes in the air to take those cells out, we will do that if we have to. But the problem is that all of the cells that are inside of Afghanistan are surrounded by civilian communities. So it's very difficult for us to be able to hit those without civilian casualties. And our goal right now is only military targets, no civilian casualties, which contains a lot of what we can do. Now, in terms of the podcast, 7 p.m. U.S. time, we do a podcast with Survival Dispatch. It's Survival Report on X. It's Survival Dispatch News. It's survivaldispatch.news on Substack. You can tune in. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, Pakistan time when we go on air. We run until 6 o'clock in the morning. And we are basically talking about all of the terror threats from around the world, how they affect the US, how they affect Europe. And right now we're talking a lot about Pakistan, about what's happening on the Pakistan side. So if you tune in, you can tune in right there from either Survival Report. We retweet it on our Command 11 website, or sorry, on our Command 11 handle. It is recorded on YouTube, so if you missed the live episode at night, you can come back in at any time and watch it on YouTube or watch it on the Command 11 website.
Right,
Is that
thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
sorry, is that 4 p.m. Pacific or Eastern?
Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, 4 p. It's 4 a.m. Pakistan time, 7 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S.
Right,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you so much.
lovely. I'm sure that there are going to be more people who are going to join, and a great work anyway. And I have to tell you this thing as well, because the Pak Bangla Connect we were dealing with, I thought there was a lot of personal commentary. So we're going to start this new forum here. I'd appreciate you guys have supported, and I do wish to conduct this as a regular thing with Command 11. And thanks that he came here. And one more thing, probably we are going to go a Zoom session, particularly related to Afghanistan and how things are unfolding here. So there's this one very quick last question, Command 11, and thank you so much. You've given almost 3 times more time than we discussed before. Do let me know, how do you see it's escalating? Because if we talk about now, it's apparently not ending. The proxies are going to continue. That's what we see. It's foreseeable. And we've talked about the funding and the support from India. So how do you see it's escalating in coming days or weeks here?
Well, the biggest problem we have is in Pakistan's tribal areas, because in the tribal areas, it's the TTP is very well embedded there. They have been able to get village elders on their side by paying them a lot of money, so that no one blows the whistle on where their cells are hiding. Yesterday, a group of elders from Bajawa went and met with the TTP and said, look, we want you to leave. We've had enough. We don't want the army attacking our villages. We want you to leave. The TTP turned around and said, look, we'll leave on 2 conditions. Number one, we maintain control so that you cannot live a peaceful life unless we say so. Number two, you do not support the Pakistan military. And that is something that the village elders turned around and said, no, that's not possible. We can't do that. So we have we have an asymmetrical ideological war that we have to deal with inside of Pakistan, and that will be handled more with commandos and strike teams as compared to drones. Because again, when you're embedded inside of our civilian population, we don't want civilian deaths. The Taliban is more than happy to put civilian dead bodies on the screen. We are not. And that kind of limits our options. Like what we're doing in Afghanistan right now, it's drone attacks on open military targets, so we don't have to worry about civilian casualties. Inside of Pakistan, it's a very different story, and we have to fight very strategically and very carefully inside of our country. In terms of how long this will go on, this will go on until the Taliban realizes that asymmetric warfare against Pakistan is no longer a successful option for them. When they come to that realization, we will stop fighting. But as long as they want to continue to be India's puppets, and the new name that's been given to the TTP is Lashkari Modi. And it's the best name we could have possibly given them, because that's exactly what they are. They are funded by the Indians. They're supported by the Indians. They're trained by the Indians, and it's time that we call them out for what they are. And as long as they want to keep fighting, we will keep fighting. But their capacity to continue fighting has been significantly damaged. Their entryways into Pakistan have been taken out. Their suicide bombing camps have been taken out. Their training camps have been taken out. By the amount of time it's going to take you to restructure, redevelop, and rebuild those places, we are looking at potentially 8 to 9 months of peace and quiet in Pakistan, which is a huge success for the country.
Right, thank you so much. And I think Aya brother takes the speaker to share a few tweets in the nest, and now he's addressing. He says he's Tajik, is saying, "Respected Field Marshal Asim Munir and blah blah blah. Any group or country that strikes the Taliban is our friend and has our support. So this is something very interesting. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest, in the first place here. But thank you, Kaman, brother. We made it. So we'll be doing another one. But before that, quickly, just a question or a comment from Ruhani, because he's joined a couple of times and was unable to speak since beginning, I'd say. Yeah, please, Assalamu alaikum. Go ahead. Yeah, Ruhani, please, if you can unmute yourself and say what you want to say, please.
You're still on mute, Rouhani.
Oh, all right. I think there's some problem in his connection as well. So we'll move to Muhammad Kohistani. Please go ahead.
Hello, and thank you for having of me in here. So my brothers and fellows, they have been talking through different aspects about the relationship of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And I do apologize in advance because I'm in somewhere that I cannot talk properly. So I will just keep continuing my discussion and make it conclusion as quick as possible. So the thing is, like, we are not happy on what happened on Afghanistan. We are in love with our people. We are really in love with our land. On what happened in different provinces, it's truly not acceptable. But I would like to talk and discuss two different aspects because the Pakistan is in war with who? First, we need to know that who is Pakistan currently fighting with? The people of Afghanistan or the Taliban. So if the Pakistan is fighting with the people of Afghanistan, of course, we would like that this war should continue and we will be standing on the side of the people of Afghanistan. We would never leave them. But if this war is with the Taliban, so definitely we will be raising awareness that this war is only with the Pakistan and the Taliban, and the people of Afghanistan should not involve themselves in this war, and they should be a step back of this war. So what the people of Afghanistan is currently facing with the Taliban government, no jobs, unemployment rate is very high. The people of Afghanistan is like facing number of issues since the Taliban have been taking the government.
Right.
The Taliban then
Okay.
let me just clear this first. The Taliban have been violating the human rights. They are not like letting anybody to go outside and take a break.
Mm-hmm.
They are not letting the woman to study.
Absolutely.
They have been they have been removed them completely from society, and now they are facing with number of psychological issue. I have like many reports from UN,
Right.
United Nations, that the girls are like facing, and even most of them they have been like doing suicides.
Good God. So, no, thank you so much. I was not
Let
interjecting.
me talk and more, and then I will like just conclude
Can you
my
please be
words.
brief? That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I will. So the Taliban will not and haven't been allowed anybody within of the country to have like freedom of speech and everything. So this war is the war between Taliban and Pakistan. And the people of Afghanistan is not involved, and we are not letting anybody to be involved in this war. Since the Taliban are supporting terrorists like TTP, Al Qaeda, and other groups, and we are here to raise awareness.
Thank you, Mohammed. I think you're done. So, thank you for sharing your opinion. And I agree about the way women are being suppressed at the moment there and how they're not allowed. The gynecologists are not allowed. They're not allowed to go to the school. And they have a lot of problems. We do agree. Now, your comment about that it is a war between Pakistan and Taliban, we're going to go to Command 11 because it's his forte and his subject. So let's see what he has for you here. Yeah.
Okay, Mohammed, if you were listening from the very beginning of the podcast, I said this in the very beginning. Our war is not with the people of Afghanistan. We love the people of Afghanistan. We have no issue with the people of Afghanistan. Our problem is with two groups. One, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Number two, the Taliban regime. We completely agree with you in everything that you said, that the Taliban has restricted movement, has restricted human rights, has restricted women's rights. That is not how a country is supposed to be run. And we would like nothing more than for the Taliban regime to be collapsed and the people of Afghanistan to elect the leadership that they want, that will take the country forward to the glory that Afghanistan deserves. Pakistan has never been your enemy. Pakistan has always wanted a great Afghanistan. But you have certain factions inside your country that have a problem with Pakistan. You, as Tajiks, as Hazaras, as Farsi speaking, you need to control those Pashtuns that have designs against Pakistan because they create an issue between us and Afghanistan. We don't want a problem with Afghanistan. You don't want a problem with Pakistan. We need to stand together as brothers and fight for a strong, independent, free Afghanistan.
Right, lovely. And one last comment because I don't want Hamza to feel that I haven't taken him on the speaker. Hamza, assalamu alaikum, please be very brief. Hamza, can you hear us?
Let me say one thing more, that I'm here also in order to translate some of the things that Rouhani wants to say, in order of his request. Rouhani, brother, if you have anything to share, just go ahead. I'm here. Say in Persian, I will translate it
right
into English.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you very much. And I think having a different opinion never harmed anybody, only if it's conveyed in a proper and civil manner. So, no problem. And you need not to apologize in the beginning about your opinion. We totally welcome that as long as it's not instigating or targeting a specific group for whatever reason, journalizing them. So, thank you very much. Command 11, I think Hamza can speak now. Hamza, can you please? I guess no. So, Command 11, do you have any concluding remarks if I give you a complete a roundup? So, in the beginning, we've spoken about that nobody is the enemy of Afghans, but it is about the TTP that's being harbored and nurtured there in Afghanistan and kept on. Having terrorist activities in Pakistan in particular, and the recent meeting with raw guys in India created, more concerns, particularly in Pakistan, and we're seeing what's happening. So if I ask Command 11 that you give a complete roundup at the end, I'd really appreciate that. Please, thank you.
Well, I think we need to start off with a real simple thing. The timing of this assault on the Taliban was kind of keyed to when Mutaki would be in India. While he was sitting with his handlers and talking to his handlers about what they need to do in terms of attacking Pakistan, you were delivered a message that is very clear that we will no longer tolerate this. We have even put it out there that if Mutaki dares to fly over Pakistani airspace, we will bring that plane down. Not blow it up. We will forcibly, with our jets, bring that plane down and demand that he clarify for us what he was doing inside of India, because he's taken an intelligence delegation with him as well. And whenever an intelligence delegation goes to India, we know that there's planning against Pakistan. So again, to wrap it all up, it's very simple. We have no problem with Afghanistan. We have no problem with the people of Afghanistan. Our problem is with the TTP and with the Taliban regime. And encompassed in that, ISKP, Al Qaeda, all of these groups that are operating on Afghani soil, they need to be wiped out, because until they're wiped out, there will never be a free and independent Afghanistan. Our final objective of everything we are doing right now is to give freedom to the Afghani people. And a lot of people in Afghanistan have made some very snide tweets, snide posts about what Pakistan is trying to do, that Pakistan is trying to give Afghanistan freedom. We are not saying that we are bringing freedom for you, but we are giving you the opportunity to take freedom for yourselves. This is something that the Taliban would never allow you to do. Our support of the Tajiks, the Hazaras, the Uzbeks, all of the quote-unquote minority groups of Afghanistan, and the Pashtuns that are not hostile towards Pakistan, We still believe you can develop a free, independent, strong Afghanistan. But you need to weed out all of these terrorist elements that are inside your country. Because until they're gone, you will never see real freedom.
Right. Thank you so much, Command 11. Thank you, everybody who's joined in because it was, I guess, the first phase from this handle. And the suggestion came from Command Brother again that we need to focus on a few things. So I thought that why not today and why not now? So I appreciate everybody who joined in, who did ask questions, who was just here as a listener, who supported, appreciated. At the end of the day, we do not want in this part of the world or any other the terrorism being nurtured. And we have seen, and I would like to say it again at the end, that Pakistan had given a lot of sacrifices throughout, and we've been one of the biggest victims of terrorism. This year alone, we've had a surge in terrorist attacks, and unfortunately, they were all supported, nurtured, and the plans were made in Afghanistan by TDP, BLA, TTA, and many, many more organizations. We have seen clearly how India is supporting them. You can simply go and have a look at their mainstream media, and their troll armies on the internet, the netizens, their politicians, and everybody precisely is on board saying or creating certain narratives to kind of, under how to say, just leave Pakistan on a side and play the victim, despite on one side they say that Afghans do not have anything in Pakistan, did a lot wrong to them. On the same side, they're having jubilation and cherishing the awkward, the inhumane videos of our soldiers in particular. They've been dragging because when wars happen, when attacks happen, there are casualties from both sides. It's a given. But then again, behaving like animals. I'm not saying all Afghans. I'm talking about that specific group who did that. So I'd appreciate you guys keep supporting. So we try to make this platform bigger, and we can keep you posted and updated about particularly Afghanistan and South Asia, giving this side of the story. I'd welcome all the questions and comments as long as they're civil and they are logic based rather than trolling. Command 11, once again, I thank you. And hopefully, we'll be having a podcast together. And I'd be sharing here on this. Twitter handle. I'd appreciate if you like it. If you don't, just give us your feedback. Take best care of yourself. More to peace, peace of the world. Bye for now, and we'll be speaking again. Thank you.